Good morning, 8th grade. Happy Wednesday. Hope you guys are doing well. Hit pause. You got this. Your word is pristine. All right, Marge routinely had her carpets cleaned so they would look pristine. What would look pristine? Carpets. So ask yourself, what part of speech are carpets? That is a noun. And what kind of carpets? They're pristine, so this must be an adjective. Very good. And if you weren't positive, the sentences below, we've got pristine condition and pristine beaches, and we know a beach is a place. That's a noun, so we know this is an adjective. Now, if Marge cleans the carpets all the time, they would look clean. They would look perfect. They'd look pure, right? Let's see if that makes sense. Those who know about the island keep it a secret because they want to enjoy its pristine beaches. Okay, so again, clean beaches, perfect, untarnished, right? The opposite of pristine would be like tarnished or dirty. Okay, so very good. Let's move on. So today I want to keep working on writing about themes of stories. So we are going to reread a story that we've read before. It's a kind of a silly story. It's called The Goose That Laid the Golden Egg. A man and his wife owned a very special goose. Every day, the goose would lay a golden egg, which made the couple very rich. Just think, said the man's wife. If we could have all the golden eggs that are inside the goose right now, we'd be much richer, much faster. You're right, said the husband. We wouldn't have to wait for the goose to lay her egg every day. So the couple killed the goose and cut her open, only to find that she was just like every other goose. She had no more golden eggs inside of her at all, and they had no more golden eggs. Okay, so what is the theme of this story? Maybe you say the theme is you shouldn't be greedy, or you should be grateful for what you have. Okay. What's wrong with that? Well, what's wrong with this thesis statement? The most important theme is you shouldn't be greedy. Well, the problem is you! That's a joke. Anywho, why shouldn't we say you when we're writing about the theme of a story? Who is you? You is the reader, the person reading your essay. And if you say, hey, you shouldn't be greedy, well, if I'm your reader, I'm going to be like, you don't know me. That's kind of rude, right? So we want to try to avoid saying you. So what can we say instead of you? That's kind of tricky. How about, what can we say instead of saying you shouldn't be greedy? Maybe don't be greedy. The theme is don't be greedy. Does that still get our point across? Yeah. And this time we're not offending our reader by calling them greedy. How about, what if we said people shouldn't be greedy? We're talking about people in general. We're not calling out our reader and saying that they are greedy. Okay? So another way that you can avoid saying you is by plugging in people. Or you could say one should not be greedy. But you want to try to avoid saying you shouldn't be greedy. Okay? I have another thesis. The most important theme of The Goose That Laid the Golden Egg by Aesop is don't cut open geese that lay golden eggs. So what's the problem with this? How many of you have geese? How many of you have geese that lay golden eggs? None of you. They don't exist. So what's the problem with this theme? Is this a life lesson that everybody can learn from this story? No. Nobody can learn anything from this lesson that's written here because nobody has geese that lay golden eggs, right? So when we are writing thesis statements, we want them to be written in a way that every single person can learn something, right? Every person that reads that fable, right? Aesop wrote that fable in order to teach people not to be greedy, right? So we want to be careful about how we word things. So to review, when we're writing about the theme of a story, we want to avoid saying you or your, right? Because it's judgy, right? We're not writing in order to judge the person reading our essay. right? We're writing in order to explain, what the author's kind of purpose was. Why did they write this story? They wanted the reader to learn something. So we want to avoid saying you or your because it's judgy. We don't need to mention specific characters, right? We don't want to say the theme of the story is the wife shouldn't have killed the goose, right? Because I'm not a wife, so I can't learn from that theme, right? So we want to word and phrase our theme in a way that every single person can learn from the story, right? We don't want to say the theme is, don't kill a goose. Well, okay. No, the theme is something that everybody can learn from this story, right? I don't know how many people are even gonna. Some people live, where there aren't even geese. That's not useful. That's not why Aesop wrote that story. Okay, so let's move on. I've got a more fun story now to practice with, and that story is called No Weenies Allowed by Paul Tibbitt. You and I are going to alternate reading. I'm going to read a paragraph, you're going to read a paragraph, and the purpose is to figure out what is the most important theme of the story. Do you know who Paul Tibbitt is? Paul Tibbitt is the creator of Spongebob. I'll go first. Sandy and Spongebob are waiting in line for the salty spittoon. It is the toughest sailor club in Bikini Bottom, and only the toughest fish can get in. Spongebob doesn't want to go, but he doesn't want to tell Sandy. I don't want to look weak in front of her, he thinks to himself. How tough am I? Sandy rips Reg's mom tattoo off his chest and puts it on back upside down. Go ahead in, says Reg. He then turns to Spongebob. How tough are ya? It's on! Spongebob tries to open it, but cannot. If I could just run this under some hot water. Mark my words, Reg. I will get into the salty spittoon. I will! Spongebob has a plan. He convinces Patrick to let him beat him up so Reg will think he is tough. They stage their fake fright right in front of the salty spittoon. Reg is so impressed that he lets Spongebob into the spittoon. Ah, classic Spongebob. Okay, so what would you say is the life lesson of this episode? Maybe you say something like this. SpongeBob, what should he have done? Should he have gone to the salty spittoon? Probably not. He should have been honest, right? Should have just told Sandy, hey, I don't think that's the right spot for me. Maybe SpongeBob should have stayed true to himself. So maybe the theme is stay true to yourself. Or don't try to be like someone you are not, right? SpongeBob tried to be like Sandy, tried to be like Reg and all those tough people at the salty spittoon, and he ends up going to the hospital. And he beats up his friend. What else? Maybe the theme is don't worry about what others think about you. Okay. Now, do you notice a problem with these themes? They all have you in them. So this can seem a little judgy. So how could we change these? Take a moment and try this. I want you to hit pause, and I really want you to try to phrase these on your own. This is an important exercise because this is not easy. What are you going to say instead of stay true to yourself? How are you going to change that to get rid of you/your? Okay, so Hopefully, you tried this, and maybe you were successful, maybe not. Let's do it together. So, the most important theme of No Weenies Allowed by Paul Tibbitt is, instead of saying stay true to yourself, what if we said people should stay true to themselves? Now that's a lot less judgy, right? It's the same life lesson, stay true to yourself, but now instead of saying you, hey reader, you are being fake, now we're talking about something that everybody can learn, not just your reader. Instead of saying don't try to be like someone you are not, what if we just got rid of the you and said don't try to be like others? You could also plug people in there. People shouldn't try to be like someone they are not. But you could avoid using people altogether in this case. Don't worry about what others think about you. Maybe we say the theme is not to worry about what others think. You could just get rid of the about you. Or you could say the theme is people should not worry about what others think about them. Okay? So again, when we're trying to eliminate the you, one way you might just be able to get rid of it. Or you might have to insert the word like people, right? Okie doke. Because again, we don't want to say you, it's a little judgy. Okay, so here is your assignment. Now you don't need to turn anything in, but please do try to do this, okay? Do this on the paper that you've been working on. I have a short essay here, and I'm wondering if you can find all the problems in the essay. So hit pause, read through it, and see if you can find there are 2 problems with the context. You can see I labeled it 2 problems, and there are 2 problems with the meaning. So the thesis statement. The most important theme of No Weenies Allowed by Paul Tibbitt is don't try to be like others. Okay, so our essay is telling us the life lesson of the story is not to try to be like others. Okay, context. SpongeBob and Sandy were waiting to get into the salty spittoon. Sandy got in right away because she is tough, but SpongeBob can't because he's wimpy. Quote, I don't want to look weak in front of her. There are 2 problems there. See if you can find them both. The meaning is much more important. See if you can find the 2 problems with the meaning, okay? Once again, you don't need to turn anything in, but please do try to find the problems. Have a fabulous Wednesday. Love you guys.